Red Sox, America's heartland, trying to win their first world championship since you know when. They're all up on the railing by the top step of the dugout, poised. 2 out in the 9th inning.
The story of the 2004 Boston Red Sox actually began in October of 2003.
The Red Sox 5 defensive outs away from heading to the World Series.
Back-to-back hits bring the Yankees to within 2.
115 pitches on the night. Grady Little is going to stick with his starter.
It's a base hit. 2-run double by Posada to tie the game at 5 in one of the greatest comebacks you'll ever see. Finish against their century-old rivals, the Red Sox.
We had an enormously successful year in 2003, make no mistake about it, but the bitter disappointment of the ending stayed with us.
For the fans in New England, more heartbreak.
So we decided that day to begin talking about how we were going to come back.
We just tried to take the negative energy and turn it into a positive by trying to have the best offseason we could possibly have.
The first step in that quest was to find the right manager to handle this team.
Theo called me, asked me if I'd be interested in coming up and talking to him about the job, which of course I was. I knew that I wanted to be the person.
We're supposed to win here. That's what we're all shooting for. That is wonderful pressure, believe me.
But in Boston, nothing less than a World Series title would do. And the postseason is all about one thing.
The point that we tried to improve upon in the offseason was our pitching.
The day after Thanksgiving, we had a press conference in Arizona, and we announced the signing of Curt Schilling.
I like the thought of pitching in the biggest rivalry in sports in front of some incredible fans.
When Folk reached free agency, we looked at it as a great opportunity. Not just to sign a closer per se, but to sign what we thought was one of the great pitchers in baseball.
Coming here, I think the opportunity to win, win big over the next few years is, it's something I was really excited about.
To be on a team that can add those type of players, it was like, wow, we really have a shot.
Boston also added Pokey Reese and Mark Bellhorn to bolster its depth, and other personnel rumors began to fly.
A lot of things happened this offseason that became high profile against our will, but they were leaked from other sides.
Stories of trade talks involving Manny Ramirez and Nomar Garciaparra helped make the Red Sox a hot stove hot topic.
New England Patriots were headed for a Super Bowl. And yet the thing that was on the minds of all New Englanders was whether or not Alex Rodriguez was coming to Boston.
But in a blow to Red Sox Nation, A-Rod instead landed in New York.
I almost felt like I had one foot in a Red Sox uniform, and it just didn't work out.
We knew where we were going to draw the line, and when the price got too high, we walked away because we knew we were giving up a lot.
Sometimes the best deals are the ones you never make.
95% of us are back, so we know that feeling of Game 7 when Boone hit that home run. And, it was devastating. But you got to go through those times as a team to basically get better and enjoy the times that are ahead of us.
And so, the Red Sox entered the season with solid pitching, power, and a resolve to make Boston forget its past. New England Sports Network presents Faith Rewarded, the historic season of the 2004 Boston Red Sox. The faith of Red Sox Nation is reborn every spring. It is here the hopes and dreams of Boston fans first take root, with the promise that maybe this really is the year.
One of the great challenges in playing this organization is having those kind of expectations year in and year out.
These fans, some of them have been out here since 7 o'clock this morning, even though the gate doesn't really open till 8:30.
We seem to be lucky and have that support every year. The fans definitely always show up for us.
World Series here, World Series. Look around, it's a phenomenal scene. I mean, fans everywhere. Guys, they're just as excited as we are to get out here on the field. Morning. Another beautiful day. Come on. What's up, fellas?
And they kept our group together, the good core guys that we had such great chemistry last year, and made some good additions.
I believe, especially in baseball, that it is essential to have the right kind of chemistry. And we look for that. We build towards that.
Pookie, welcome to the Army.
They're fitting into a mold that was already put together, and I'm excited to get on the field and start competing with these guys.
So the only way I think that this team could be successful, could be really successful, is to be loose. That's why you saw this cast of characters. And this was their way, individually, each of them, of being loose.
Oh, okay. It's a Latin thing.
Staying loose.
That's some FedEx.
All the numbers are in English.
Keeping each other loose.
You know we got Pookie in the house. He got all kind of glove.
And as the Red Sox discovered in the spring, no one let their hair down more than Johnny Damon.
I mean, it's just hair, but it took on another life because of the fans in Boston.
Hair, hugs, and lots of heart. It's a formula that came to symbolize this lovable band of Red Sox.
We've got to stay healthy and become one, and I think the becoming one has kind of happened from last year, and now with a few additions this year, it's just going to be that much easier.
Green Monster.
I look around at this roster and I see a team that we stay healthy, could be world champions. It's just going to be up to us.
The Red Sox confidently began their season at Camden Yards.
Red Sox baseball 2004 promises to be a special season.
Pedro Martinez, one of the all-time greats, is pitching for Boston.
Swing and a miss, strike three, number 300.
You talk about domination.
The Boston Red Sox will mob Pedro Martinez.
Pedro's past performance in Boston is legendary, but the present posed a few questions.
New England, we're concerned about Pedro because he wasn't throwing that well in the spring.
Everybody anxious to see how hard Pedro is throwing.
Lost my fastball. Do you think 90, 91, nobody lost a fastball? That's a good fastball. And if anybody wants to test it, let this guy sit there with a bat. I'll hit him a 91. I'll see how...
But against Baltimore, Pedro got off to the worst possible start.
Down the line, and it's gone! A home run! The first pitch that Lopez sees as an Oriole.
A line drive and a left for a base hit, and it's 3-0 Birds.
And Pedro is having a nightmare here in the second inning.
He had a tough second inning, but he kept it to 3. You know, looked like they had a chance to put 4 or 5 up. And when he did that, I think we felt pretty good.
Pedro did settle down as the game went on and kept his team in striking distance, but the Red Sox offense came up woefully short.
The Red Sox strand 14 runners in the opening game and fall to the Baltimore Orioles.
It was a disappointing way to start. We would have preferred to start the season on a win, but it's a long season and you can't get caught up in one game.
We got beat opening day. PD pitched. We had an off day, and it seemed like it was a week. You know, all the anticipation and everything.
These Boston Red Sox, one day they give you Pedro Martinez, the next day they give you Curt Schilling, and throughout the regular season, that figures to be a deadly combination.
With Schilling being signed, if you looked at that, you know, having Pedro and Schilling as a 1-2, having another ace, you know, in your 5-card deck at the front is just it's a bonus.
Boston's biggest offseason acquisition lived up to his billing, dominating the Birds for 6 innings.
This one gets him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Schilling, 7 in all.
In the 9th, the Red Sox unveiled their other new pitching weapon, a truly reliable closer.
Our bullpen ended up very strong at the end of last year, but we still didn't have that one guy to turn to really close out a game.
That shortcoming in the pen would be answered by Keith Foulke.
Gibbons strikes out. Foulke will pick up his first save, and the Red Sox have their first victory of 2004 for Terry Francona. Curt Schilling getting the victory.
It's a win. You know, just getting that first one out of the way is huge. Not just for me, but for us, and feels good.
The opening series split with Baltimore ended with a late-night 13-inning loss, but Boston's troubles were just beginning. They still had to get home.
So you get to the airport at 12:30. You're about to take off. Problem with the plane. You look left. PWI wheels up at 5:46 a.m. Touchdown at Logan at 6:37. And got to Fenway at 7:34.
I think our game was like a day game, so we literally had to go sleep for 2 hours and show up back at the field. It was a wild night, but we bowed through it.
Opening day 2004, Blue Jays and Red Sox.
The home opener had a special feel to it, for the fans couldn't wait to see their improved Red Sox. But the team wasn't at full strength, for injuries had derailed both Trot Nixon and Nomar Garciaparra. Filling in for Nomar, Pokey Reese quickly won over both teammates and fans.
What a play!
He's probably the most athletic player I have ever played with. He brought spunk, a smile, grace out in the field that I've never seen out of a fielder.
Pokey Reese performs magic again here at Fenway Park.
But in the home opener, it was Pokey's bat that had the fans singing his praises.
Swing and a fly ball to left field. Drifting back, Catalinato, it's over his head, up against the wall. 2 runs in, Pokey Reese ties it. The crowd chants, Pokey, Pokey.
Still, Pokey wasn't the only one providing punch on opening day.
A line drive homer for Jason Varitek, and the Red Sox lead for the first time on opening day at Fenway. It's 5-4.
Unfortunately, the bullpen couldn't preserve the lead.
Blue Jays spoil the home opener in the Fenway debut of Terry Francona as Red Sox manager.
But even in defeat, Francona could see a team chemistry developing, as hair-raising as it was.
I was dying for our guys to have a team personality, and the hair thing kind of came into play. They were all doing it to come together.
I mean, Johnny Damon comes in right away looking like the movie Passions. He looks like Jesus.
People instantly thought Jesus was here to play center field.
Johnny Damon reels it in.
Pedro Martinez has got the soul glow. Wherever Pedro goes, you're going to have a stain behind his head. Manny, I don't know. I always tell him, can you please put a hat on or a helmet, because I'm getting ready to lose my lunch with that hair. David Ortiz, we call him the Big Cat. He's got the smile that's from ear to ear, and it's just a great group of guys, and we're very lucky to have that.
Hugs and happiness were a big part of Big Papi's makeup. But then again, so were home runs.
Way back! Way back! Home run! Red Sox win in 12 innings on a walk-off David Ortiz home run. Is that guy capable of dramatics or what?
That hit got the Red Sox in the perfect frame of mind for their first series with the Yankees.
One of the fiercest rivalries in all of sports, Boston and New York.
This rivalry now has hit every level, from ownership on down.
The buzz at the ballpark is different than any other game of the year.
Well, you know how crazy the city go when we're playing against the Yankees. Everybody's pretty pumped up. I guess everybody can wait until the game starts today.
With the rivalry the way it is and what happened last year, it's a lot of fun to play in front of that kind of crowd and that kind of atmosphere.
This early season 4-game series took on the aura of a prize fight, and it was the Red Sox who opened with a flurry of punches.
Three home runs for the Red Sox tonight. The Boston Red Sox have won Game 1 of 19 against the Yankees this season.
Curt Schilling had success against the Yankees in the past. Game 2 would prove no different.
Third strikeout, fifth strikeout. A-Rod down by way of the K.
After Schilling did his job, on came Folk to close it down.
Williams chops it to first. McCarty's got it. He'll take it alone, and the Red Sox win. Boston has taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series.
We went out there and we just played good ball. When this team gets on a roll, you know, we get some momentum, it's hard to stop us.
A 1-2. Strike 3 call. The Red Sox have taken 3 of 4 from the New York Yankees.
Well, that's a lot of fun to have this type of intensity this early, but again, it is early, and you have to keep that in perspective, and you got to continue to go out there and grind it out and stay consistent and try and do the best you can.
4 days later, the series resumed in the Bronx, and the Red Sox were up for the challenge.
No one in this locker room is taking anything for granted, and we know that's a good ball team over there.
Yankees starter Jose Contreras had been battered by the Red Sox bats in the past. In Game 1, he struggled again.
Drilled to deep left, way back and gone. Bellhorn swats one to deep right. Back-to-back homers by Millar and Bellhorn, and the Red Sox lead 3-0. Third home run of the inning for the Red Sox. This one's a 3-run blast, and the Red Sox lead 6-0. Impressive win start to finish for the Red Sox.
They've now won 4 out of the first 5 between the Yanks and Red Sox this year.
Each guy kind of went out there and did their thing, and as the momentum built, I think the Yankees were a very nervous ball club.
Boston was thinking sweep with Pedro on the mound. The game stayed scoreless through 3, but one swing changed all that.
And he swings and hits one high in the air to left field. Matsui is looking up. It may never come down. A 2-run home run for Manny Ramirez, and the Red Sox are out to the 2-0 lead.
More than enough for Pedro, who rendered the Yankees helpless.
Derek Jeter goes down looking, and it is the 6th strikeout for Pedro Martinez.
All we had to do is concentrate and try and outplay that team that we were playing, and we've maintained that focus ever since.
Sheffield strikes out. The Red Sox have swept the New York Yankees.
It was great, especially early on, not having half our team. Well, you're missing Trot Nixon, you're missing Nomar Garciaparra, and we go in and sweep them in New York. It was a good feeling.
I think we're just making a statement about how good we're playing the baseball. We are ready to play anybody in any ground, any time right now. We're that hot.
The victories continued to mount, and a major reason for the Sox success was the man they called Big Papi. Ortiz wreaked havoc on pitchers in April, but his worth to Boston went far beyond that.
If there is a guy that I'm going to start my team with, this guy's it.
David's just a tremendous ball player that has a knack for the right situation. He came up with every big hit we needed. If we needed a home run, he got it. If we just needed a single, he got it.
Line, fair ball, and the Red Sox win the ball game. Big Papi bumps one out of here, deep, far, and very good.
Ortiz wields a big bat, but he also has a big heart and a childlike passion for the game.
He comes here every day with a smile, in a great mood. He cares about his teammates, and we have fun.
Bam! Big cat taught me that one.
He is a great presence off the field. He's got a smile that stretches from here to the Dominican Republic.
Fellow Dominican Manny Ramirez is one of Papi's best friends, and when Manny became a U.S. citizen in May, his teammates did a little something to honor his newfound pride.
When he got his U.S. citizenship and he took the field that day, we gave him a flag, and he took the field with left field and ran out there with the United States of America flag in his hand. It was pretty cool.
I even have an 8x10 up in my locker that has Manny carrying that flag, and he signed it for me.
What a moment here at Fenway Park. A standing ovation for the newest American citizen, Manny Ramirez.
Then suddenly, as May turned into June, Boston began to slide.
We left spring training, and I think we really believed we were very good. We came out of the gates playing well, and we stumbled for about 3 months.
Strike three call. Varitek disagrees, and he has to come in as the wind blows it back toward the infield. He dropped the ball.
There were struggles. We played 500 for 2 or 3 months, and we were getting rained. There was articles that we could be the biggest group of frauds that baseball's ever seen with this payroll.
Another frustrating defeat for the Red Sox.
Complicating the situation was Nomar's nagging Achilles heel injury. Out longer than expected, it became an unwelcome distraction for Red Sox Nation. To make matters worse, the Red Sox had to play a late June series with the Yankees, who were pulling away in the AL East. New York won the first 2 games, and the finale no doubt gave them an overwhelming sense of dominance in what many felt was the game of the year. Pedro took the ball looking to change the Boston fortunes, and right from the outset, he tried to send a message.
Pedro Martinez has hit Gary Sheffield. He's taking it very personally as he heads down to first base.
But the Yankees were not intimidated.
A monster shot by Posada, and the Yankees lead 3-0. Grounded sharply, diving stop by A-Rod, gets to his feet, fires, got it.
Okie Reese on the run into foul ground. Can he make the catch as he tumbles into the seats? He does. A 2-run home run for Manny Ramirez. It's 3-2 New York.
On it went into the 12th, where Derek Jeter turned in the play of the game.
Fast out goes Jeter to run it down. He goes flying into the crowd after making the catch.
For Boston fans, the script was far too familiar. For just halfway through the year, the Yankees seemed a cinch to win the American League East.
Flaherty hits it in the air to left field, and the Yankees will win it in 13 innings. A crushing defeat tonight for the Red Sox and the sweep by the New York Yankees.
We didn't lose anything. We played a great game, and we take more from this game than we lose.
As difficult of a loss as it was, when it goes good, and it's going to go good, we'll be that much better because of this.
Having underachieved for the past few months, Boston trailed the Yankees by 7 games at the All-Star break. Off to Houston went a trio of Red Sox to represent their team, unaware of the impact they would have.
From the Boston Red Sox, first baseman David Ortiz. Pitcher Curt Schilling. Batting fourth from the Boston Red Sox, left fielder Manny Ramirez.
You see, the All-Star game now decided home field advantage in the World Series, so the Red Sox unknowingly would help their own cause, starting when Manny faced a familiar foe.
And it doesn't get any better than this.
0-2 pitch. And that's ripped into left field. Back at the wall, it's gone. Home run, Manny Ramirez, 3-0 American League. Way back, goodbye, home run, All-Star dinger.
It was a great feeling. I mean, it's my first All-Star game, and I'm very happy that I hit a home run, and that's what people like to come to watch, homers.
So the Red Sox sluggers have accounted for 2 home runs in the same spot in the lineup.
The All-Star game was a blast, but now the Red Sox resumed play with a plan.
We're just trying to go out there in the second half and have fun and stay healthy. We just want to get into the playoffs, and once you're in the playoffs, anything could happen, and that's the big key for us right now.
Soon after the break, Boston faced an imposing challenge when the Yankees came to Fenway for a crucial 3-game series. The Red Sox now trailed New York by 8.5 games, but a struggling Kevin Millar tried to pick his team up when he opened his stance and delivered.
Swing and a high fly ball to left field. Kevin Millar, home run.
That's a major adjustment, in July to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to hit open in the big leagues for the Boston Red Sox.
Here's his pitch.
Swing and a drive, deep to left, way back, home run. So Millar turns the boos into cheers.
I opened my stance up, things started clicking. Next thing you know, you get a 3-home run game.
Deep to left.
Amazing.
And there it is, the 3rd home
But in the end, Millar's gallant effort was all for naught.
A pop-up. Posada has room, and the Yankees win.
Final tonight, Yankees 8, Red Sox 7. The Red Sox are now 9.5 games behind the first place Yankees.
Close to being out of the race in July, a sense of urgency seemed to take over the team. So much so, they felt the need to play the next game despite heavy rains the night before.
Players marched into ownership and said, hey, we want to play. We feel like we can beat them.
I walked past Jason Varitek in the clubhouse, and he said, are they calling this game? And I said, looks like it to me. It's awfully wet out there. He said, I don't care how wet they are. Let's play.
And so, the game went on, with the forecast now for more Red Sox-Yankees fireworks. And they erupted in the third, when Bronson Arroyo faced Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez is drilled. He says something to Bronson Arroyo.
The guy dives out over the plate and hits balls 500 feet to right center, so I'm going to try to get in on him.
I told him in choice words to get to first base. And then it changed from him yelling at Bronson and yelling at each other, and then things got out of hand.
Varitek and A-Rod going at it.
Varitek's our leader, and someone you don't want to mess with.
This only heightens the anger between these two teams.
I mean, it was just one of those long days at the ballpark, which turned out great for us and kind of got us back on track.
After the fight, the inspired Red Sox staged an incredible comeback, culminating in the ninth when Bill Miller faced Mariano Rivera.
Now Miller's sitting on a 3-1 pitch. Driven in the air to deep right field. Back is Sheffield. The Red Sox win it.
It's a huge win for us. And it'll be bigger if we make it bigger. And we let this catapult us and we do something with it. That's what will really make it big.
That walk-off home run kind of took the Yankees by surprise. It really energized us, and it set the tone for things that might happen later in the season.
And the Red Sox come from behind to win it over the Yankees.
To me, that was the first sort of inkling we had that things were completely different this year, that was really the beginning of what turned out to be a miraculous season.
I think we went 2-0 that day. We won the fight. We won the game. That's a 2-0 game. You can't go 2-0 usually in one game.
We have a fight, we come back from a big deficit, and boom, we got to win. So if you have to look back at one game, that would be it for me.
In the rubber game of the series, the only punch thrown was a knockout blow by Millar.
There's a drive to left. It's long gone. Off the Coke bottles. Millar continues his heavy hitting. 4 home runs in the series. 7-2 Boston.
And Folk racked up his 16th save.
And the Red Sox have won it.
Good boy, Folky, nice job.
They take the series 2-1.
Still, there was cause for concern in Red Sox Nation, and a bold move 1 hour before the trade deadline added to the intrigue.
You know, it's with mixed emotions that we see Nomar go. He's been a great Red Sox, one of the greatest of all time.
The shockwaves from trading a Boston icon were felt throughout baseball, especially by the man who pulled the trigger on the trade.
Trading a player the caliber of Nomar Garciaparra is not something that should be done lightly. If it didn't go well, it would negatively impact the franchise for years to come. Not to mention my life, not to mention my career.
That night, in talking with him, I knew he was the loneliest man in New England, and quite probably the bravest man.
There was an awful lot of weight on our shoulders having traded Nomar and gotten back players who weren't quite as well known in return.
Well, see you guys.
My first reaction, I walk in, I see Nomar packing his bags. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. Please tell me I didn't get traded for Nomar Garciaparra, because I think I'm a pretty good player, but I know I'm not that good.
We thought our biggest issue was defense. We're not a good enough defensive team to win the World Series. And we have this flaw in our club, and if we don't act, we're going to allow it to become a fatal flaw. So we were able to bring in 3+ defensive players, 3 gamers, and 3 guys who are pretty good offensive players too on the same day to try to address that flaw in our club.
Cabrera told me he thought he was going to Chicago the day of the trade because he had read so much that the Cubs needed a shortstop. Somebody else went to the Cubs, and he came here.
When I got traded, I was really excited because I know that I can show them that I can play.
Now the Red Sox debut of Orlando Cabrera.
Hit hard into the seats and left on the 4th pitch that he sees as a member of the Red Sox. Welcome to Boston.
That week or two after the deal was made, we found our identity and we took off.
The Red Sox win it.
Then things started to pick up. You know, Cabrera got more comfortable at shortstop.
Defensively, there's no question this team is much, much better.
No, you've gained a lot defensively. You've gained a Gold Glove caliber shortstop.
I don't know if a lot of people saw him play in Montreal. I know I didn't. I knew he comes with a great defensive reputation.
The more we watch Cabrera, you can see why he won a Gold Glove. I mean, he's smooth.
Clearly, their defense is so much better than it was before.
Thick and fast, Roberts dives and makes the catch. And Cavich will apply the tag and get drilled by Delgado. Terrific play by the former Gold Glove winner.
Minkevich, Gold Glover, you know, over there. That's all needs to be said, really.
You see why Minkevich won a Gold Glove. I mean, he just makes those plays.
Minkevich was, playing good defense. All of a sudden, our defense started becoming better.
Youkilis on the run, dives and makes the catch. Miller on the run, and in time.
Our defense is a little bit better. It's a little bit more improved.
Leaps in, makes the catch, and banks into the wall. Ramirez holds on to the baseball. Damon started back, has a long way to come, and he makes a diving catch.
Our team took on a completely different look, and the guys that came in, they just fit seamlessly.
We're a very easy bunch to get along with, so I think that's what made the transition for guys a lot easier when they came over.
It is a group like I've never seen.
Orlando's an outgoing guy, a hell of a player.
My bad.
We just tried to have fun.
I have a hard time getting used to Derek Lowe in that gear.
That's what makes this team so great. I mean, everybody's got handshakes.
Down here, sit.
We always keep it relaxed. We always joking around, having fun, and hey, we keep everybody loose in the dugout.
Poppy Ortiz looking into the camera.
David has a passion for the game. He's fun to be around. He's funny.
Pedro, he's very focused when he's playing, but the other 4 days he's just goofing off, having a good time, kidding his teammates.
Kevin is a tremendously fun presence. He likes to talk.
Heads up, Timlin! That's somebody that's been around for 18 years. You don't fall for those tricks. I like to keep everybody loose and having fun, and we're just a little different than everybody else in the league.
Chemistry cannot be underestimated. I've never seen a situation where there was such compatibility, closeness, and productivity.
The Red Sox win.
I don't think it's ever hard to fit in somewhere if your single most important goal is the same thing.
With their defense now more secure, Boston's starting pitchers seemed re-energized, and once again, the Red Sox began to win.
When you play better defense, all of a sudden, your starting pitchers get more confident that they can attack the strike zone. And then our starting pitchers started throwing strikes and going deeper in the game.
The starting pitching started throwing 7+ innings a start, 1 through 5.
When your starters eat up innings, the game is easier, and on August 12th against Tampa Bay, Pedro went deeper in a game than he had in almost a year.
Pedro Martinez in search of his 13th victory of the season. First strikeout for Pedro Martinez.
It was the vintage Pedro.
And he is gone as quick as you can be.
The ball was moving. He was on top of his game.
Struck him out.
And it was just magical.
Petey's got it going on today. Strikeout number 8.
You know, that's what I've seen him do the last couple years that I've been here, and, you know, that's why he's Pedro Martinez.
10 punchados for Pedro Martinez in a complete game effort.
From pitching to power, Boston now appeared invincible.
Ortiz hits it deep and far. That one's not coming back anytime soon.
All the right components were now in place, and after going 8-6 the first half of August, the Red Sox went on a 16-1 tear.
We were playing so well at that time. We were pitching, we were hitting on all cylinders. You couldn't get us out.
Here comes the winning run, and Damon is in! The Red Sox win 5-4! Swing and a miss, and Dimitri Young strikes out. The Red Sox have swept the Detroit Tigers.
Having recently swept the Yankees, the red-hot Anaheim Angels rolled into Fenway on August 31st, just a game and a half behind Boston for the wild card.
Big series for the Red Sox against the Angels.
The key to this series, in my mind, score early, score often against the starters, be ahead late in the game. The advantage now, the Red Sox have him here at Fenway Park, where they've played great baseball a year.
Everything was cooking at that point.
The Red Sox win. They sweep the Anaheim Angels, and the Red Sox have won 9 in a row.
That, I think, was a very important confidence booster for our team.
But the Angels weren't the only team in August that incurred the Red Sox wrath at Fenway.
Ortiz hits it deep to right field. That one's not coming back.
We had a great homestand here, and I think it's going to give us some momentum going into this road trip.
Having won 25 of their last 33, the sizzling Sox went to Oakland in early September and all but ended the wild card race with a 3-game sweep of the A's.
Turns on this, and it is gone.
This is Damon's best year as a member of the Red Sox.
That was the best ball we played all year.
The Red Sox have swept the Oakland Athletics in a 3-game series in Oakland.
Those teams were some of the better teams in the league. For us to go in there and just steamroll over them, I mean, that was pretty awesome.
Red Sox win.
We swept the table for a while there, and it was certainly something that catapulted us.
Up by 5.5 games for the wild card, the Red Sox set their sights on the division and the Yankees' 4-game lead. To the mound, they sent their ace.
Curt Schilling tonight looking for victory number 20 of the season.
Schilling's been awesome. Knowing that we depend on him and that we need him, he came up big for us.
Curt Schilling, that's a workhorse.
Strikeout number 5 for Curt Schilling.
It's something to really respect.
Off strikes out. 6th strikeout for Curt Schilling.
He brings that kind of that bulldog mentality to the field, but you know he's going to go out there. He's going to give you everything he's got.
Curt was on his game tonight. The Red Sox win. Curt Schilling, the Major League's first 20-game winner of the season.
It was nice. 20 is a nice number that to a lot of people means different things. It was awesome in that it was in September and we were in a pennant race.
The Red Sox pick up a half a game. They're 3.5 behind New York heading into the showdown weekend series at the stadium.
All of a sudden, people start believing again. And now the 10.5 lead shrinks to 3.5 lead. The wild card, the Angels and Oakland and us, and the Red Sox just kind of kept going and plugging along.
For the Red Sox, the wild card was now all but ensured. But they still had their eyes on the Eastern Division prize.
Game 1 of the 3-game series. The Yanks and Red Sox were ready to rumble.
Damon hits one high and deep to right. The Red Sox will have a 1-0 lead.
Johnny Ohomes, and the Yankees take a 2-1 lead.
And that's when the real magic in the Bronx got underway.
Manny near the pole, and it is caught by Ramirez.
I thought about that catch a million times. When it happened, I just jumped and caught the ball, and I said, let me hold it for a couple of minutes. So he just ran in and pointing to the sky.
Cairo went all the way around the bases. I'm not sure he realizes. He doesn't.
He couldn't believe it.
Now he just found out from Lofton, the on-deck circle. No, sorry, Miguel.
We go to the top of the 9th inning. It's Mariano time. The Yankees got to go to Mo.
But against the Red Sox, Rivera is anything but automatic.
It hit him. It just doesn't look like the usual sharp Rivera. Hit on the ground. Base hit in right field. Sheffield's throw is offline. It's a tie game.
Mariano is the best in the game, period. And we're fortunate we had the right circumstances, right situations. Things fell our way.
Damon trying to dump it in shallow right center, and it falls for a hit. Here comes Kepler to give them the lead. Red Sox 3, Yankees 2.
The last hit by Damon was remarkably like Posada's hit in Game 7 last year.
But this was a different season, and this a different outcome.
strike three. The Red Sox win.
Boston had inched that much closer to the division lead. But that's also when the Yankees pitchers laid down the hammer and all but ended Boston's quest to capture the American League East title.
Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 8 for Messina.
To make matters worse, Pedro had another rough outing.
3 home runs against Pedro Martinez. And the Yankees now hold a 4.5 game lead in the games behind column.
This isn't a 140-game season. It's not 150. It's 162, and you play 162 and see where you end up.
Boston had one more series against its arch nemesis. And once again, Pedro could only watch as the Yankees gave him a whooping.
And the Yankees take a 5-4 lead.
It's because I can't find a way to beat them at this point. You just have to give them credit and say, hey, you guys beat me, not my team. I mean, what can I say? Just tip my hat and call the Yankees my daddies.
But Pedro's teammates picked him up in the next 2 games, and the 19-game regular season series with New York ended with Boston on top.
The Red Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees in impressive fashion and win the season series 11 games to 8.
The Sox continued to roll through the final week of the season, and their new additions made some key contributions.
Hernandez, the Boris tonight's Red Sox hero. Walk-off home run. Red Sox win it in the 12, 7-6.
But one man on the Red Sox had been coming up big all season long.
Great hitter. Manny hits everybody. Even when he's 0 for 4, you know the opposing pitcher's not feeling too good about facing him.
And he hits it high in the air to deep left center field.
He can sit on a pitch for an entire series, and when he gets it, he's going to do damage with it.
Way back in left and gone over everything to tie the game at 2.
He is, in my opinion, the best pure hitter I've ever seen.
He'd always been the team powerhouse, but in 2004, another side of Manny emerged.
This year we saw a complete transformation in Manny Ramirez. He had so much fun and brought so much fun to the team.
Big Papi teamed up with Manny both for laughs and as one of the most dynamic duos in the game.
He and David were the greatest 1-2 punch I've ever seen.
Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz with back-to-back home runs. The 4th time Ramirez and Ortiz have gone back-to-back.
They combined for an amazing 269 RBIs and 84 home runs, the best of any AL teammates. Ortiz was having his 2nd straight great year, but for Manny, it was business as usual.
Manny's record speaks for itself. 43 home runs this year to lead the American League.
And you can forget about this one. And Manny with a bomb, number 43.
On the same day that Manny hit his 43rd home run, the Red Sox would clinch their 2nd straight playoff berth.
Strike 3 called. It's all over. The Red Sox, for the 2nd year in a row, are headed to postseason play.
The celebration was genuine, but this was just the first step.
I think it's enough for me now. I'm about to get a ring, and I want to get one.
The division series began on the West Coast.
The slugging Red Sox against the Anaheim Angels.
And Boston set the tone right off the bat.
Grounded to 3rd, off the glove of Figgins. Ramirez heads to 2nd base safely. And there's a broken bat shot to the right side. Ramirez scores, and it's 1-0 Boston.
Rip to left, back, good! It is 8-0 Boston.
Schilling breezed through 6, but then a routine play spelled disaster as Kurt aggravated a previous ankle injury.
An easy chance for Schilling, and he threw it high and wide, and he's limping.
I knew that there was a problem. We were a little concerned, had a lot of swelling after that.
Schilling left the game, which the Red Sox won.
Timlin strikes out the side, and the Red Sox capture game 1.
The assault continued in game 2.
And the Red Sox are putting it away. It's 8-3 Boston. The Angels go out in order, and the Red Sox take a commanding 2-0 lead.
Not only did we get the lead, but we tacked on a little bit, and somewhere down the road that may help us.
The Red Sox win puts them in the American League Championship Series against either the Yankees or the Twins.
It looked like a sure thing when Boston took a 6-2 lead, but the Angels kept battling.
He hits this ball right. Good! Grand slam, tie game.
So in the 10th inning, on in relief came Derek Lowe, having been assigned to the bullpen for the series.
Funny, he wasn't good enough to start this game, but he's good enough to come on an extra inning.
Charged by Cabrera, gets it, throws on the move for the out. The inning is over. Lowe does the job. Boston has a chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th.
There are some games where you need somebody to come up big. I think to accomplish what we did, you have to have players like David do what they did.
Bottom of the 10th. Swinging a fly ball to left field. Way back! Way back! The Red Sox are going to the American League Championship Series on the back of David Ortiz. That's my puppy! There goes the idiots!
Our whole team, just a bunch of gunslingers.
It's just a group of guys that just don't care what they look like.
And now this bunch of self-proclaimed idiots would try to turn it up a notch in the ALCS.
You want the Yankees now? I don't care who we get. Bring whoever you want.
The two best teams, I think, going to American League are going to the championship series, and that's the Sox and Yankees. And I think for fans and cities and you know, media, this is the only way to have it.
There's nothing bigger than Yankees Red Sox.
The rivalry has never been this close in the history of it, and I really believe that the only thing separating them was one swing of the bat from Aaron Boone.
We walked off that field here at Game 7 about the same time last year. That gut-wrenching feeling you felt the whole offseason. But I think that makes you stronger and tougher, and here we are.
You know, a lot of people want to make a big deal about last year. Well, this team's a little different than last year.
The Boston Red Sox were favored coming into the series.
We were 5 outs away last year, and Schilling and Folk short. Having two aces, having Schilling and Martinez, makes our team tough.
I liked our chances last year. I really like it.
Our bench is definitely better now. We joke, we say that they could actually be better than the team we're throwing out there.
I love playoff time. You play for it, guys.
This team is super loose. I mean, I think they almost go out of their way to be the anti-Yankees. The way they wear their hair, the way they let their shirt tails hang out.
All right, let's try not to have a good batting practice today.
You know, our organization has been lenient with us.
I hope it snows tonight.
I do believe that we're each our own person, but I don't think it looks that bad at all.
I think this group has kind of found their identity. I think every year the identity's different, and I think this group, they just really like to play baseball.
Do you think you're going to beat the Yankees?
We better. If not, we're in deep trouble. In my dreams.
The awesome thing about being a starting pitcher is you have the ability to make 50,000 people shut up when you're on the road.
1918, baby!
I'm not sure I can think of any scenario more enjoyable than making 55,000 people from New York shut up.
But for Schilling to accomplish just that, he'd have to overcome a torn tendon sheath in his ankle, which he had suffered in Game 1 of the ALDS.
I went out to the bullpen and had probably the worst bullpen of my career. But mentally, I just shrugged it off and thought, you know, okay, it's one of those nights. I'll be fine once the game starts. I was horrible. I did make adjustments. They pounded every mistake I made.
Here comes Jeter. Here comes A-Rod. Matsui stands at second with a double. Now coming home to score is Sheffield. And the Yankees lead it 5-0.
Schilling's opponent, meanwhile, could do no wrong.
Messina perfect through 6.
Still, Boston did fight back.
How many teams trailing by 8 runs in the 7th inning, having a perfect game thrown against them, come back and make a game of it? The Red Sox are tenacious and they don't panic.
But the Red Sox' valiant effort wasn't enough, and Game 1 was lost. Their second ace in the hole was also outpitched in Game 2.
John Lieber, you thought Messina was good last night. This guy's been unbelievable tonight.
We have to score off their starting pitching. That's the key to the series. We don't want to let John Lieber go 7+ innings and be there with Pedro Martinez.
Lieber was outstanding, while Pedro fought through his past in the face of 55,000.
It's not looking good for the Red Sox in the very sense of what Lieber was able to do, and also Pedro pitched really well.
Pedro did pitch well, but once again the Red Sox hitters were left swinging at air.
I'll take responsibility for this. I mean, I 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts. You know, I'm the catalyst on this team.
So now the Red Sox were down 2 games to none, and they had even graver concerns.
I think this is the time to talk more about the Schilling situation. His status for not only the rest of this series, but for the rest of the postseason right now doesn't look good.
What's the feeling in this team, the mood of the team down 0-2?
We're okay. And we know our backs to the wall, but and we haven't played our best games yet.
Would you classify Game 3 as a must-win?
Oh, it definitely is, because the Yankees really don't lose 4 in a row.
And this is a nightmare for the Red Sox and their fans, looking at a 3-0 deficit in this series. And the hits just keep sailing out of this batter's box. One guy after another swinging from his heels for the Yankees.
The Yankees have a stranglehold on this series. They have a 3-game lead.
How do you come back from this? Being embarrassed on your home diamond by your most hated rival.
Interesting to me just exactly what's said in that Boston clubhouse after the game tonight.
We didn't have a meeting, but to a man in our clubhouse, we all said, this is not how we want to go out.
I mean, I know you're from Masson, and I know you grew up a Red Sox fan, but don't count the Sox out. You know, we were down 0-3 so quick. All odds are against you. It hasn't happened in the history of baseball. But don't let us win today. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't let us win today and give them Pedro tomorrow and then Schilling Game 6, and then anything can happen in Game 7. If there's an intangible I bring, I mean, I'm not a very good player, but, you know, in the clubhouse, I like to keep everybody loose. This is the way we like it. Down and out, and then BAM! Sox Nation take over. We were pink.
We were so loose. I was proud to see that. We knew we could come back.
They like to talk about this renegade bunch and the idiots, and last year it was Cowboy up. They're going to need all that swagger. They're going to need all that confidence.
We're going to fight you tooth and nail. You know, if you knock us out, that's fine. But we're going to give you all we have.
But all they had didn't appear to be enough, for in Game 4, the Yankees held a 1-run lead in the 9th with their primetime playoff closer on the mound.
The Red Sox are 3 outs away from being swept.
All we kept instilling each other is to take 1 pitch at a time, 1 at-bat at a time.
And there's life for the Red Sox. A pinch runner, Dave Roberts, is going to come in for Boston.
Right before I was going to take the field, you know, Terry looked at me and just gave me a wink, and I knew what that meant right there.
The world knows he was trying to steal second.
We weren't going to beat those guys conventionally. I had to push the envelope and be aggressive.
He goes. Here's the throw. Roberts dives, and he is safe.
In my opinion, that was the #1 biggest play. When he stole second base, if he doesn't steal that, we're going home.
He's not going to bunt. He swings and lines right up the middle into center field. A base hit. Roberts hits third. Here he comes. Bernie Williams throw. The game is tied. Rivera has blown a save, and the Red Sox have life.
Unlike Rivera, Boston's bullpen didn't allow a run for the next 3 innings. Still tied in the 12th, up came Big Papi.
Ortiz, so many times the hero for the Red Sox.
Talking to David last year after the Game 7 loss in New York, you could see it in his eyes how sad he was, not for himself, but for everybody around Boston. The day I came over here, he said, we have a chance to turn those tears into smiles. And that's something that never stopped driving him.
We move to the bottom of the 12th, the 4-4 game.
swing and a drive, deep to right, way back, and this ball is gone! Jump on his back, fellas, the Red Sox win, David Ortiz.
This is a team that never give up. We're 3-1 right now. You never know, things can change. You never know what can happen from now on.
That just kind of maybe stole the momentum, I guess, a little bit away from him.
What it did was dignify the series. The sweep would have been intolerable here.
Ortiz also provided the spark in Game 5 when he came up in the 8th with the Sox trailing 4-2.
Swing and a drive deep to left center, way back by the monster seats and gone.
That's all I do is hit. You know, I don't go out there and play defense and make a play for my team. I got to worry about what I do with my bat, and whenever I get the chance, I got to get it done.
Last night, the Red Sox waited around until the 9th to tie it at 4. Tonight, they do it in the 8th.
Once again, the bullpen was magnificent, led by Wakefield in his 3 scoreless innings. Still tied in the 14th, and at the plate, Big Papi fouled off pitch after pitch, trying desperately to get that winning run across the plate.
This has been a very long, productive at-bat for Ortiz. He hopes to make it really productive with a game-winning hit. Swing and he muscles one. Shallow center, base hit, and here comes David to win it. The Red Sox are going to New York for a Game 6, and David Ortiz does it again.
What David Ortiz has done is miraculous. He's carried us on his shoulders.
The Yankees, I think, really have to think about who's their Big Papi, right?
It's never over in these series or in these games until you get that last out. So, you know, it almost seems like the last team to hit wins, and it's something special. I just want to be a part of it.
They're heading for New York, and Curt Schilling, the injured Curt Schilling, will try and get them into a 7th game.
We had to find something that was going to allow my ankle the flexibility to at least push off the rubber a little bit. Dr. Morgan came up with the suggestion to suture down the skin between the dislocated tendon, the tendon that was still in place, to the tissue above the bone, and basically create a wall where my tendon can't pop back in and out.
It was a very unique situation. Either we did this or he didn't pitch. And he was determined that he was going to pitch no matter what it took.
We did it, and it worked, and I felt like I was going to be able to do it.
He gets an opportunity to walk on the mound in Yankee Stadium and fulfill that goal of shutting up to 55,000. Everybody who's got a soul for baseball wants to see this.
I can't ever remember this place being more alive than it is right now.
I was scared to death. I didn't want to fail again. I looked at it as a chance to redeem myself and keep my team alive.
Schilling races to the bag. Yankees don't score.
Then, out of the 9-hole came a resurgent bat.
Bellhorn drives one down the left field line. Matsui on the move. It is gone! A home run!
The crowd has been taken out of it. The pitching of Schilling.
Schilling left after 7 heroic innings. Meanwhile, the Yankees' frustration was growing as they flailed wildly, looking for an edge.
He tracked him. He dropped the ball. It rolls down the right field line. Jeter hitting third. He's going to score. A-Rod at second. He slapped the glove with his hand. Now they're pointing. He's out. A-Rod is out.
The once confident Yankees were on the verge of losing 3 straight.
You know, we've been saying since we're down 3-0 that, you know what, pressure's on them. Let's go out and make history.
The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He threw a fastball by him. Game 7 coming up tonight.
The Red Sox did make history by becoming the first team to force a Game 7 after trailing 3-0. But still, there was unfinished business.
We have a chance to shock the United States of America.
What about the world?
The world. All right, the world. There you go. If they're watching in Japan, we'll shock them too.
It's deja vu all over again. Here we go, Game 7, New York.
The beauty of Game 7 for me is I pitched, because watching is so nerve-wracking, especially what happened last year. We're so close.
Derek Lowe, he wasn't even supposed to pitch in this series as a starter. Banished to the bullpen.
What he did in New York was fantastic. On short rest, he went out there for 6 innings and probably gave more than he had.
Swing and a miss for a strikeout. Blow pumps his fist.
It was like all the fury was built, and it slowly came out. And by the time we got to Game 7, it all just poured out.
Swing and a drive hammer deep to right field. Way back, and this ball is gone. High drive to deep right. Grand slam. Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon, 6 RBIs tonight.
We had a convincing lead, but I wasn't going to smile until after that game.
I do remember the one thing we were saying in the dugout for the entire length of Game 7, 5, 6, 7 run lead was they're not going to quit, so we can't.
And the Red Sox continue to tack on. That's been the key to this.
Pokey Reese has it. He throws to first, and the Red Sox have won the American League pennant. The greatest victory in team history.
And they do it in Yankee Stadium.
Move over, babe. The Red Sox are American League champions.
We did it! We did it! I told you! I told you!
Greatest comeback in the history of the game.
Number 1, baby. We took it to another level.
We might never have another chance to come into Yankee Stadium and put some things behind us, like 49, 78, 03. Because a year later, we're back here, we get a chance to do it, and we do it after being down 3-0. So that's incredible.
Hey, Dio! Look at this! American League champ! Oh, my goodness!
You know what? I was happy to do it and actually happy to get over the Yankees.
Ah! Thank you, Lord! Thank you, Lord! Why not us? Why not us?
It's just more so relief that our fans can breathe a little more.
I'm proud of you, man.
I'm so happy for you.
That was pretty special for me.
Look around.
I know.
You know, the year before I had to walk off the mound, the losing pitcher. I actually got to stand on that mound and hug a lot of my teammates.
They're ready to go in Fenway, and they will be ready to go in Busch Stadium, two of the most emotionally charged fan bases in all of sports. It is definitely an old school type matchup with Boston and St. Louis.
Old school. Like when Boston and St. Louis first met in the '46 World Series, the first of 4 Game 7 losses in the Fall Classic for the beleaguered Boston franchise.
After that last game in St. Louis, we're in there, everybody with their heads down, and I looked down the other end, maybe about 10 feet away, and there's Ted Williams. He's actually wept.
Many tears have been shed in Red Sox Nation during the 86 years since the team last won a championship. The 2004 squad was fully aware of the history and the burden they carried as the 100th World Series got underway.
I'm here to play not just for me, but for the guys that have been here and lost.
To actually bring it over, it's gonna be a big thing, and I hope we make that dream come true.
The curse of the Big Papi.
1, 2, yo.
Red Sox Cardinals live at Fenway. Both Sox are back in the big dance. Get your World Series scorecard and lineup.
It's a cold night here in October. The fans in Boston could care less. For the first time since 1986, they get a chance to see their beloved Red Sox in a World Series.
Since I was drafted in '93, you hear so many fans talk about winning a World Championship, and every year has been that year that we needed to win it.
Dude, you need to stop.
Have some fun. Okay, we'll do. Greatest time of your life. You know what? Win it. Win it. Win it.
Two teams that are set to do battle, and we expect to see a lot of offense.
And here we go.
1, 2, yo. Right now, we're rolling with big names. We haven't got time for playground games. As loud as you got. Yo.
Pitch. Line drive deep to right. If it's fair, it's gone. 3-run homer. Big Papi does it again in the first inning of the World Series. 3-0 Sox.
No matter what you're doing in life, you have to set goals. goals. Taking control of what is yours is the aim, so tackle your way through. Don't let them tell you how to make moves. You're a winner, God knows I refuse to be beaten, I'm the best. So big up your chest if you were blessed with the skills we present.
4 straight hitters have just clobbered the ball. Third ball, grounded right past third, a fair ball.
But another run is in to make it 7-2.
And the Red Sox picking up where they left off against the Yankees.
In a blur, the Red Sox had forged a commanding lead, but walks and an outbreak of errors allowed St. Louis to creep back and tie the game at 9. Red Sox fans had to wonder if 2004 would be just another frustrating year of almost, not quite.
Coming in Ramirez, not a good outfielder. He slides and he misses the ball. Ramirez, 2 errors in the inning. You know what it was. It was the curse. The curse.
But these Red Sox were not doomed to repeat the past, and their hero in this contest would hit his 3rd home run in as many games.
Swinging a high fly ball deep down the right field line by the pesky Bolt. Home run! No horn! The Red Sox lead it 11-9. Can you believe it?
It's those situations you're really not thinking about anything, and that's kind of what I was doing. I knew it was, pretty big. Once he got me with 2 strikes, just kind of trying to put the ball in play, and sometimes when you do that, you just kind of let your natural talent take over.
The set by Volk, the 0-2, swing and a miss, and a change-up there, tags him, and it's over. The Boston Red Sox have won Game 1 of the 100th World Series. They've now won 5 straight postseason games.
The Red Sox bats remained hot in Game 2 as they scored in the first inning for the 2nd straight night.
Swinging a high fly ball to deep right center field. Ledman's going back toward the triangle. It is off the side wall of the triangle, out by the door. Here comes Manny. Ortiz right behind him. Varitek to third. He slides in with a triple. And the Red Sox lead it 2-0.
Offense never was a concern for this team, but Schilling's ankle certainly was.
When I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning, I couldn't walk, I couldn't move. I, honest to God, did not think I was going to take the ball today. I didn't think I could.
Schilling certainly has done it before. He did it last week against the Yankees, but this time it was more painful.
This is like the movie Braveheart. I mean, this guy is a warrior, and that's why we brought Curt Schilling here to help us get to our dream.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Change-up. Struck him out swinging. Schilling with the splitter.
Schilling was indeed a warrior for the Boston Red Sox.
I did what I did last time. I went to the Lord for help because I knew, again, I wasn't going to be able to do this myself. I just wish everybody on this planet could experience the day that I just experienced. It's just the most amazing day of my life.
Boston now led 2-0, and as the series shifted to St. Louis, the focus of Game 3 turned to Pedro.
Game your life, baby. Game your life. Come on, baby. Let's go. Game time. Come on, let's go. Come on, Petey. Like you can, Petey. Like you can, baby. Come on.
Martinez wouldn't need much run support this night, but he got some early from Ramirez.
Here they go again. They've scored in the first inning in all 3 of these World Series games.
And in this game, Manny also did it on defense.
He makes the catch, tagging and heading home. Walker, the throw. He is tagged out.
Manny Ramirez, a first inning home run, and then he cuts Larry Walker down at the plate.
And Pedro was vintage Pedro.
Come on, Petey. Attaboy.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a competitor. He knows what he wants to do, and he wants to dominate.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 6 strikeouts for Pedro.
He retired the last 14. Pedro on center stage in the biggest game of his career in the World Series has answered the challenge.
St. Louis Cardinals were explosive all year. People said, oh, they were dead. You didn't see the real Cardinals. Let me tell you something. They were not dead. They ran as Schilling and Martinez. That's what makes you look dead.
As Game 4 commenced, Derek Lowe looked to continue Boston's trend of deadening the Cardinals' bats.
0-2 pitch.
Here's a swing and a miss. He's out on strikes in a hurry.
He is pitching with all kinds of confidence.
Something the St. Louis pitchers seem to sorely lack.
Going to drive deep to right field. Way back it goes. Man, gone. Johnny Damon has led off the ball game with a home run.
The St. Louis Cardinals have never been ahead in this World Series.
Bases loaded.
Nixon rips on 3-0.
Way back. Way back. It's off the wall. Here comes Ortiz. Here comes Veritek.
And it's 3-0 Boston.
That was all the run support that Lowe would need as he sought to become the first pitcher in postseason history to win all 3 series-clinching games.
Swing and a miss. He made him look bad with that breaking ball, and Pujols strikes out.
Lowe has retired the last 12.
Swung on and missed. He struck him out.
He has pitched shutout baseball through 7 innings.
Like Schilling and Pedro before him, Lowe did not surrender an earned run.
The fact of the matter is we just pitched lights out. We pitched that ball really well, and that's what allowed us to do what we did.
The Red Sox are closing in on it. Closing in on it. Closing in on it. Closing in on it.
And Keith Foulke comes in to try and close it.
This wasn't simply a World Series save resting on Keith Foulke's arm. This was salvation for a nation.
After decade after decade after decade of tragic baseball losses, here are the Boston Red Sox on the precipice of a 4-game sweep. 4-game sweep. 4-game sweep. 4-game sweep.
Come on, Falky.
With every pitch, the past, the painful past, the past that never ceased to be the present, was washed away.
Fastball swung on and missed. He struck him out. 2 out in the 9th inning. Here on the banks of the Mississippi River.
The Red Sox are 1 out away from winning it all.
Let's go, Red Sox! It has been 86 years since 1918. Generations have come and gone. 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 Edgar Renteria. The last chance for St. Louis to extend this game.
When you get to that last out, you think you're going to win. You're almost trying to hold back, but it's hard to keep it inside because it is so emotional.
You start breathing harder, your legs start shaking. I mean, you're about ready to erase a 86-year curse.
Foulke to the set. The 1-0 pitch. Here it is.
Back to Foulke. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
For the first time in 86 years, the Red Sox have won baseball's world championship.
Next year is finally here.
Can you believe it?
It's just a tremendous accomplishment for this team and the city, and 86 years of frustration is finally over.
It was a thing that you dream of as a child for such a long period of time. To be able to watch it unfold in front of your eyes and be able to run on the field and celebrate with your teammates after Foulke got that last out.
As soon as he hit it, I'm like, you got to catch this ball. You got to catch this ball. And I was actually a little early on catching and almost missed it. But once I had it and I kind of started to run towards first, and when I got rid of it, it's like, oh my God.
When that last out was made, it's a feeling you can't, like you're world champions.
It is the Red Sox who are the champions of the world.
When I was running, it was an unbelievable feeling that I can't describe it, man. I was shaking and I couldn't believe it, because everything went so fast.
When you rush that mound and when you rush your teammates and you're hugging and the tears and it's what you work so hard for.
I can say without any reservations that this is the happiest moment of my life just because of the collective goal had been reached.
And now they can celebrate like idiots. That's what they've been waiting for all summer and for almost 100 years.
They had fun. This team
It's a testimony to playing baseball and winning baseball when there's a looseness and relaxation about it. It was a team of players that liked each other, that respected each other, and wanted to win for each other.
Every ounce of this.
The team we have, it doesn't come around too often. A lot of teams, they have their cliques and they shy away from each other, but our team, once one person speaks, everybody listens.
To the greatest Red Sox team ever.
And although these players haven't waited 86 years, they are aware of the burden that a lot of Boston players have played under with the constant reminders of how long it's been.
If you wore a Red Sox uniform, that you've had to bear so much of this burden for 86 years.
You can go back to these great Red Sox teams, and there are a lot of great players who never had the joy of winning a World Series.
Johnny Pesky. He's a Red Sox at heart. He's full uni every day. He's 80-something years old. That's the man that I was proud to give him a hug, and, you know, that was for him.
Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Polk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions.
When that last out was made, if I was 50 years younger, I'd have probably been jumping up and down like a crazy man. But that was probably one of the best feelings as a Red Sox person could ever have.
It's just as much for them. I mean, if you wear that uniform, you know, you appreciate how much this championship means.
The Jim Rices, Ted Williams, Bobby Doerr, Johnny Pesky, all of them, Buckner, Billy Buckner, no more baggage.
This goes well beyond the Boston Red Sox 2004. You know, this is for all the people that, and all the teams that have come up short.
I think that this was a story that actually transcended baseball.
To be sure, this was one of the greatest stories in all of sports. This team not only made history, they defied it. And in the course of this improbable journey, they captured the hearts of a Red Sox nation that knew no boundaries.
I believe in my heart that this was America's team. Whoever your team was, once they got knocked out, it was kind of like, man, you gotta like these guys. They're down to earth, they're normal, they're crazy, and they're good.
We won in St. Louis, and we got to celebrate with each other. But then we got to go back to Boston.
No one could have imagined what was waiting for the Red Sox when they did return home. After all, this was a celebration 86 years in the making.
The Red Sox arrived at Fenway about 7:30 this morning. A hero's welcome, and why wouldn't it be? Hundreds of fans waited in the cold for them.
Coming from the airport to the ballpark, you saw guys on bridges waving, honking horns. To me, that was pretty neat.
Pretty exciting day. After 86 years, the curse is gone, and the Red Sox have proven they got the heart of the nation.
I think the entire country now is marveling at what the Red Sox have done.
Even the folks at MIT took some time out today to turn their famous dome into a baseball.
It was the best welcome back we could have, and instantly we got to see that we were going to be able to share this with the whole city of Boston, the whole New England region, and all of Red Sox Nation around the world.
Now it's time for the parade, the world's largest parade in the city of Boston. Let the parade begin.
The confetti starting to fly in Boston as the parade is underway.
It was a gathering of Red Sox Nation. People letting out 5 years of frustration, 15, 50, 60, 70 years of frustration together.
This crowd is now 20 deep on both sides, hanging out of windows, on top of buildings, being a part of this wait for a lifetime celebration.
Parade was like being at a rock concert for 3 straight hours, but you're moving. I can't tell you how bad my ears hurt but how happy these people were.
So happy that I could be with my dad, finally see them win it after, I know, many years of him wishing they could do it, and the pain and suffering, but now they finally did it.
They really just released something that has been passed down generation to generation.
When I woke him up for the 9th inning Wednesday night, I was wondering, what if they don't win, and I've scarred him for life. But they won, and I was very happy that they shared it with us.
3-point-something million people in hotels, in streets, in trees, in the water. This is Red Sox Nation that you hear about, that you dream about being a part of. This is Sox Nation.
That parade was, oh my goodness. I mean, just both sides of the street, 50, 100 people deep, and seeing the looks on their faces and having everybody thank you, and it's like, well, what are you thanking me for? It's like, this one's for you guys.
Every place that I go, a lot of people tell me, oh man, you make me so happy, you make the city so happy. But I want to tell my fans, that they're the one who make me happy.
This team had such an affection for their fans. They were so excited about getting out there and saying thank you to the fans, and it was basically both sides saying thank you to each other.
In that parade, as our players held up this trophy, as we held up this trophy, we saw human reactions. We saw tears, we saw jubilation, we saw people just almost paralyzed. So there was a civic pride, a sense of community.
Everybody knows that it's been 86 years, but for people who were just hoping to see one World Series in their lifetime, for them, it was one of the most joyous moments of their lives.
As players, we felt them all year long. And here we were back in our home, acknowledging that they were such an incredibly significant part of what we did.
I wouldn't trade one World Series ring in Boston for 3 anywhere else. The people in Boston really deserve it. They have been so supportive of us for such a long time. We have been close before, but to actually bring it over, we made that dream come true.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you about